The pitch is looped towards shortstop. Petroselli's back. He's got it. The Red Sox win. And he's pandemonium on the field.
Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Boston radio personality Lou Blasi.
All right, this train wreck is officially open. Hi, Louie.
It's not a train wreck.
No.
Be positive.
I'm kidding. Brian, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. How are you?
Brian Dwyer from REA Auctions. Our other good friend, John Liffmann from JBL Sports Antiquities. John, why don't you have a website? Are you that cheap?
I like to meet people, get to know them, and do things that way.
All right. Everybody that goes to the Shriners Show and actually to the National too knows John. John has been around for about 470 years. He knows he's got. I mean, Brian, seriously, his collections, man, off the charts. His memorabilia has been some of it's been legendary. John, didn't you have? Did I dream this? Didn't you have a photo of the 1912 Red Sox at one year?
Yes, and many other years.
So went back and forth, did it?
Quite a few.
Really? Yeah, because I remember that you had that one hanging in Wilmington that was spectacular. Brian, you know John, right, Brian?
Known John a long time. Always like to see what he has at his table, and he comes across some great stuff, and he's probably in better shape than I am too.
Yeah, but that kind of aggravates me also, John, to be honest with you. John, you were a runner, and now do you still run, or are you a biker? What are you doing these days?
Swimming now, mainly.
You're swimming. Now, weren't you a swim coach too at the high school?
No, rowing.
Oh, I'm sorry, rowing. God bless you. All right, listen, before we get to Brian, we just want to look at some of John's collection. We thought you guys would really appreciate it. John, why don't you tell us about some of the things in front of you there at the desk?
One of the really wonderful things that I picked up is a signature book from the 1910 Olympics. And the first one I'm going to show you is Jim Thorpe.
Wow. Very cool. Very cool.
And if you want to match a number with that, here's Duke Kahanamoku, the father of surfing.
Wow. Now, John, did you get this from a private collector?
I actually saw this in a dealer's case, and it was going to be used in an auction. And I said, is there any way I could possibly buy that? And they were an old friend, so they let me buy it.
Awesome. What about some of the other items there in front of you?
Well, here is an program from the game in 1912, after the Olympics, when Carlisle played against Army.
Wow. Very cool.
And it was a battle, and Eisenhower and Omar Bradley both played in that game.
Wow.
Dwight Eisenhower played in that game.
That's crazy.
And he was a well thought of player before that game, and he got hurt. He got hit pretty hard. And not only that, but the Carlisle Indians decided to play a little fun and games with the Army and smashed the daylights out of him to pay back for a few other things that went the other way.
Very cool. Now, John, this stuff is all for sale, correct?
Yeah, some of the things I'm keeping for my real old age. We'll see how long I can hold on to it, but I'm in my 70s now, so I got to start thinking about paying for all that dirt.
I'm in my 70s, and I look damn good.
How much did you pay somebody to say that?
All right, what else you got?
Here is a document by the Commandant of the Marine Corps sent to Ted Williams to thank him for rejoining the military for the Korean War after he fought in World War II. And I believe there were only 2 players that did that. And it's a personal thank for that act on his part. And it probably cost him quite a bit of money and
I'm sure it did.
records.
Exactly. Now, you've got some absolutely magnificent paintings on the wall. Why don't you tell us who the artist is, number one, and then show us a few.
Ron and Bruce Stark are the artists, that father and son. I've gotten to know them for about 20 years, and I became sort of an agent for them, selling their stuff. Go back every year, bring back the stuff I haven't sold and get a fresh supply. And they've been wonderful people, and the artwork is stupendous.
That's beautiful. I'm looking. We're looking at the Chamberlain Russell. That is like, it looks like a photograph.
It's awesome, and you can see on the inside there are a couple of guards.
Yeah.
Is Havlicek and Hal Greer.
Hal Greer, love them.
This is from somewhere in the second half of the 60s, somewhere between 65 and 68.
Jack, why don't you move over to another one now, just like you're doing, because that's great. Okay, now I see, yeah, that one there. Is that a Williams? Oh, that's a Jimmy Fox.
That's Jimmy Fox, and there's Ted Williams hiding off on the side. He's on deck.
Great first baseman.
Beautiful.
Great first
The
baseman.
crowd, too. It's really nice. There's, I don't know how many heads and faces in there.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
It is. It really is good artwork.
That's the only one here of Bruce. All the rest were done from Ron. The next one is a beautiful painting. There are 13 kids all lined up around Babe Ruth, and they're trying to just rub off some power from them.
You know, it's amazing because it's just, you know, there's a group of artists in this hobby that are just, one is better than the other. They're just spectacular. All of them.
It is pretty amazing. So I showed you Ruth. I'm going to show you one over here, which is Jackie Robinson.
Yeah.
This is from 1947 when they lost the World Series, and he's cleaning up his stuff at the all the stuff in the locker room down the loss.
Very cool. Louis, let's bring Brian back in now and myself. Hey, John, you can just stay put right there.
Okay.
Yeah, just stay put right there. I want to ask Brian. Brian, you're a memorabilia guy, I suspect. And I'm going to ask both of you guys this question. Lou, jump in here. Mm-hmm. Is memorabilia, to me, I've pretty much liquidated my entire card collection and gravitated towards memorabilia simply because I like it. Brian, we've talked about it in the past. You got a player's DNA could be on it. I'm really loving it. Is the memorabilia business, especially on the vintage side, is it still strong, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen some incredible prices lately for game used memorabilia, and you and I have talked over the years a number of times about what a bargain game used bats and jerseys present compared to PSA 8 and 9 examples of these players' cards. So I'm a big proponent of collecting and investing in memorabilia, and I think we're seeing the prices reflect more and more people going that direction.
Louis?
Can I go deep into the woods here? Because when I was a kid, and I was a Bobby Orr baby and loved the Bruins in the late 60s and early 70s, at one time the NHL was taking all the pucks when a goal was scored, and they would mark the puck, and they would sell them for the goal scored. Are any of those still around? Is that still a thing? Because, I mean, some of those would be awesome to have.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak to it for hockey, but Major League Baseball has authenticators in the dugouts and in the photo wells for pretty much every game. So we sell a lot of stuff that has MLB holograms. NBA and NFL are using it. PSA's even done some authentication for these leagues. So yeah, there is a pipeline coming directly from the teams and leagues out into the collecting world.
Hey, John, I'm gonna direct this question to you because I know you're an old timer. You're a real vintage guy, strong vintage guy. What I mean, do you get much authenticated yourself from a PSA or an SGC, or do you just run with what you have?
Frequently, with autographs, you really have to pretty much get them authenticated. But in terms of the last thing you were just talking about, I think a lot of that, what we're seeing now is a historical phenomenon that, about 6 years ago, whatever it was, when everybody got locked up and the kids started chasing cards and the parents then helped them. And a lot of people got drawn in. And when you start learning something, everybody starts at cards and they work on it for a while and they get a little tired and then they try the memorabilia, and that's how it slowly broadens out. So it's a natural phenomenon that will happen, I think. But
Very, very interesting. John, before we let you go, what is the one favorite piece that has gone through your hands?
Wow. There's an awful lot of them. I still have a chance at something. Many years ago, a pin for the first year founding the Red Sox. Not the Red Sox, no.
Was it the Reds?
This is the team from 1871.
Was it the Pilgrims?
Yes. Well, there were different names.
Okay.
When it first started, but somebody that I know and work closely with had it or has it. And I've been trying to get it out of him, and I have never been able to. And that player, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a show by Leland's maybe 3 or 4 months ago with people they couldn't identify in very old cards.
Yeah.
Not really cards, but mounted images. And I immediately knew that person was the person who in 1871 was the first president and person who led the organization for 1 year only.
Wow, very
He
cool.
came from central Massachusetts. And so he's in a panorama also, but I haven't been able to get it. So.
Brian, just before we let him go, what's the value of something like that?
Pretty much write your own ticket, I'd imagine. I mean, it sounds like I've never seen anything like it. That 19th century memorabilia is so few and far between. So, yeah, I don't even know how to begin to estimate something like that.
Awesome. John, it has been a pleasure having you on. Seriously, you made it all work, and all the phone calls now were worth it. So
I love talking to you on the phone.
Well, we've had some good conversations over the years.
Yeah.
And we've had. I'm sorry?
How's your wife doing?
Right now, she is she's working, she's doing great. She's at the publishers. She's working with an author who, quite frankly, is driving her nuts. But she's having fun with it. All right, Mr. Liffmann, the name of John's company is JBL Sports Antiquities. John, since you don't have a website, I mean, how can people get in touch with you? Email, carrier pigeon, how?
When my phone gets fixed, it'll be 781-738.
Hold on. Start again. 781-738. Yeah.
6024.
Now, knowing you, your phone will be fixed in maybe a year and a half.
Hopefully, the gentleman that's holding the equipment for me here is going to do it, and we're going to fix it by tomorrow.
All right, John, we love you. And hey, Jack, the cameraman, thanks for all your help.
No problem.
All right, guys, take care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, let's get back to Brian. You know something? He's just a piece of work, but he is the salt of the earth, Brian. He really is.
Yeah, fantastic guy. Known him a long time.
Yeah, he. You know what his background is, Lou. He lives down in the Cape. He's been there for 100 years. However, he grew up in Lawrence.
Oh, did he?
He went to Central Catholic High School, and I guess he was quite the star there. Like a long time ago. But yeah, John's a Lawrence guy.
Did you meet him way back, or?
I met John the first year the book came out, T206 collection, at the Shriners, and we started talking about, I don't know, one thing led to another. All right, Brian, you have your September auction is going on right now, and I've got it right out of the gate. Let's talk about the plank. Can you tell us about the plank?
Just a tremendous card. I mean, 1903 E107 Bryce Williams. They are tougher than hen's teeth. They don't come up. This is a SGC 4, only one graded, highest graded example. Just kind of a miraculous surviving example, and lot number 1 in this pretty big monthly auction.
Fantastic. Louis?
I was going to ask John this, but Brian, I want to ask you this because this fascinates me, this whole business. What lit this for you? What got you into this business, and what made it a big part of your life to this point?
For me, it wasn't a choice that I made in the beginning. It was my parents kind of buying me baseball cards and then me just liking them, and then it just become, a recurring gift. And for me, the personal calculation as to whether or not I was going to make it a business or a career was just happenstance. I went to school thinking I'd be an investment banker, and then the economy tanked when I graduated, and I said, well, let me see if I can turn my hobby into a profession, and that was 17 years ago.
And Brian, you started off, you bought the business from Rob Liffmann, right?
Yeah, this one. Yep. So my first foray into the business as a professional was working at SGC. I did that for a couple years, started my own company, which still exists and sponsors this show, Sterling Sports Auctions, and then left and then worked for Rob and then bought Rob out a decade ago now.
Right. Brian, I want to talk about you've got some great stuff in this auction. One thing that the 54 Topps Aaron, the rookie card, PSA, it's a PSA, right? PSA 8.
Yep.
Great card. Tell us a little bit about that.
It's just a great looking example. I mean, that's a card that's so popular and has gone up in value in every grade. We've got a Beckett 6.5. We've got an SGC 3. They're all doing phenomenally well. This PSA 8, really strong colors, good centering, nice looking example. We've got PSA 8 examples of Aaron, Banks, K-Line, Lasorda, all the key rookies from that 54 set. So if Aaron's out of your budget, there's some other guys that were pretty good too.
Before we take a break, Lou, do you have a question?
Yeah, we've been talking about this the last couple of weeks about the influx of just investors into the market. Guys who aren't necessarily into collecting cards or into baseball or memorabilia that way. They're just looking as investors. How has that changed your business and your approach in terms of inventory that's coming in, sales, prices, the types of things that are becoming more or less desirable because of this influx? How's it affected you guys?
Yeah, I mean, so from where I sit, we've always had collectors and investors in the market. Maybe the numbers have increased over the last several years. I think the thing that's become different in our business is that there's some more frequent turnover to material, because guys are saying, I bought this for $1,000. My only goal was for it to appreciate and for me to make money. And now that it's worth $3,000 or $5,000, whatever the number is, I'm going to sell it. Whereas collectors generally have a longer timeline. So people see some stuff coming in and out of auction maybe more quickly than they are used to. And that might be a nod to the investors in the market. But, for us, there's room for everybody.
How should collectors, I'm sorry, Tom.
Oh, go ahead.
How should collectors reshape their thinking about what they're buying if they want to get into investing and want to appeal to these investors at this point? And I'm sure it's a different mindset for them than it is for the collectors and the guys.
And I want to piggyback on that question after you answer him.
Yeah. So, I think that collectors, we've seen a shift. One of the easiest shifts I can point to is set building. Collectors 10, 20, 30 years ago were all about sets, and they wanted the common players as much as they wanted the big name Hall of Famers and star players. And now investors are gearing more towards the Mantles and the Aarons and the Mazes and the Clementes, and they're not caring about those, journeyman common cards that were needed to fill out sets. So I think if you're thinking about how do you make your collection more investment minded, how do you make your collection appeal to a wider group of people, the blue chip names are always going to have that value and appeal.
Brian, last week we had Brian Drent on, and I asked him this question, and this is kind of like a little piggyback to Lou's question. A couple of weeks ago, we had a huge sale, $12.5 million card. And my question to you is, and I'm going to propose it the same way I proposed it to Brian. I'm going to buy myself a Babe Ruth cut autograph. And I'm going to buy myself a Lou Gehrig, Ty Cobb, or Joe Jackson cut autograph. Then I'm going to buy some kind of a piece of Babe Ruth memorabilia, maybe a piece of his shirt, piece of a pants, piece of his jockstrap, and do the same thing on the other end with either Gehrig, right? Then I'm going to get some investors together. We're going to put $1 million together, and I'm going to go to Topps, and I'm going to say, we're going to pay you $1 million to make a card out of this. And then I'm going to try to sell it for $10 million. Has something new been created here with that sale and what that card entails?
Well, that sale was certainly eye-opening on a lot of different levels. And I think, I'm not necessarily the modern specialist or collector that some of these other guys are. But from what I understand, the significance of that card is that, it's obviously a one-on-one, but it's very limited the number of times those two guys appear on the same cards. It's very early on from this serial numbered autographed patch kind of craze. And so it just had a lot of things going for it. There's been some well-documented articles written about exactly what you alluded to. Take the cost of cut signatures, take the cost of game-used jerseys, put it together, and you're at a significant fraction of what that card sold for. For better or worse, we've always seen these limited edition one-of-ones really grab collectors' attention and realize significant amounts of money. Over the years, auction companies all around the country have sold items to manufacturers that have been cut up and put into cards, and the cut signature cards go for multiples of what the program, the ticket, the check, the document, whatever the case may be, was sold for. So, I can't put my finger on what drives the market sometimes. I wish it was as easy as your plan laid it out to be, but
I was being a little facetious. You do realize
for sure.
It feels like it's crossing over collectors and memorabilia, card collectors and memorabilia. It feels like it's a crossover, which allows them to get enthusiastic about it.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, if that's the case, then I'm all for it. Yeah. I know we're running a little behind, and Louis really chastises me during the commercial breaks.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. We come back, Brian. We are at week 3 of the Elite 8 of the GAX AI Sweet 16 NBA all-time basketball tournament. Unfortunately, Lou is very depressed.
I am.
After the results. Hang in there. We'll be right back.
I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectibles Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Well, look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back, and Brian Dwyer from REA Auctions is in the house with Lou and I. And it is time right now, and this was the game of the year as far as Lou and I were concerned.
It was rigged.
It's the GAX AI Suite 16 NBA All-Time Tournament, powered by Danny Shapiro, the basketball savant, and sponsored by our good pal Paul Borges at PB Collectibles. And please keep in mind, if you have a bitch about this segment, contact Danny or Paul, not me.
Give me Danny's contact information, please.
I'm sorry?
Give me Danny's contact information, please.
Okay. This week is week 3 of the Elite 8. And what a matchup it was. We had the 1985-86 Boston Celtics versus the 1996-97 Chicago Bulls. This was a game for the ages. I'm just going to go through this relatively quickly because I'm going to throw up. 1985-86 Celtics, key players, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, Robert Parrish, Dennis Johnson, and Bill Walton. And you can just take your time, Lou.
Yep.
1996 Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Tony Kukoc, and Ron Harper. The strengths of the Boston Celtics. They had a dominant front court, and we all know that. Passing and team offense, and the home court advantage where they were 40-1 that season. For the Bulls, they had the best player ever, Michael Jordan. They had elite perimeter defense led by Pippen and that other guy, Rodman. And they had mental toughness, and they did have some mental toughness. Weaknesses on the Celtics end. Perimeter defense was a weakness, and their pace of play was a heck of a lot slower than the Bulls. On the other hand, the Bulls had an inferior front court, and their rebounding all overall was suspect with the addition of Walton, McHale, and Parrish underneath. The defining matchups. Michael Jordan versus Larry Bird. The marquee matchup pits two of the NBA's all-time greats against each other. Jordan was a more dynamic and efficient scorer at his peak, but Bird's all-around game and incredible clutch shooting are undeniable. Celtics front court versus the Bulls defense. The Celtics would constantly attack inside, forcing Chicago's defense to collapse. The Bulls would need Dennis Rodman to play the game of his life, with Pippen and Jordan doubling down when necessary. The Bulls' perimeter attack versus the Celtics' defense. Jordan and Pippen would put tremendous pressure on Celtics guard Dennis Johnson and Danny Ainge. The Bulls' ability to stretch the floor with a modern focus on the three-point shot could pull Boston's big men out of the paint and create driving lanes. The verdict. The Bulls had an edge due to their defensive intensity and the singular, overwhelming talent of Michael Jordan. His ability to take over a game and get a bucket at any time gives the Bulls an unstoppable weapon that the Celtics, despite their immense team skill, simply could not replicate. The modern era's emphasis on the three-point shooting and spacing also favored the Bills. Though the game would be a grind-out classic, the final score was the Bulls 136, Celtics 131 in overtime. Bulls 136, Celtics 131 in overtime. What do you guys think? Bri, what's your assessment of that?
I mean, I'm not a Boston diehard like you are, so I can stomach it, but interesting.
Louis?
Here's my thing, and here's what AI wouldn't necessarily grasp, although you mentioned it in a couple of different situations. And I'm not taking anything away from the Bulls, who are an awesome team. And obviously Jordan is the best that ever played, no doubt about it. You get this Celtics team into an overtime situation and like a game 7 win or go home type of situation. I've never seen a team with more dog than that 86 Celtics team.
I kind of agree with you. I do. I agree with you, but I think the 3-point shooting could have been the difference. I mean, Danny Ainge was not a great 3-point shooter. Larry could, but No, you had Jordan. You had some good shooters some perimeter shooters on that team.
That's the basic huge question in this tournament: is pre 3-point line team.
Absolutely, no doubt, no doubt.
How that would play.
I mean, Brian, at the beginning, we had, based on what AI gave us as the 16 greatest teams, you had the 64 Celtics playing the, Sacramento Kings, getting crushed. Anyway, next week, we are down to the last round of the final Elite Eight, right? Yeah.
And we got one more.
You're right. One more, and then we go to the Final Four.
Yep.
All right, let's get back to Brian. Brian, the H804 1880s card. Can you tell me a little bit about that? That's the one player wearing the blue and orange socks.
Yeah.
Have you seen that one? That's a really, really kind of I'd like to know about that. It's a set. 1880s H804, kind of a cool thing. Even during the commercial break, if you could take a look at that, because I'd like to know where the hell you got your hands on that baby.
So if it's the one, if it's the one that I'm looking at here, it stopped me in my tracks for a minute because the H designation is from the 19th century trade cards, and there's so many different sets. There's -1s, -13s, so I had to go and see which one you had here. Yeah, I don't know that there's any great story about this one. It's one that I've seen far fewer times, and it's much more scarce than some of these other ones.
Yeah.
Just during that era, they were using baseball players as advertisements for virtually everything: sewing machines, washer machine, not necessarily washing machines, but laundry services of some type. So this is a sewing machine company, just piggybacking on the popularity of baseball.
I have some great in my closet. I have some great Life magazine rip-outs, tear-outs of Joe DiMaggio smoking a cigarette and just touting whatever it was, Camels or Lucky Strikes or something crazy stuff. Louis?
Yeah, I don't want to jump on your question, Tom, about eBay, but I wanted to get into this topic because I think this is the front lines of collecting at this point, the whole vintage versus modern deal. So ask Brian about that eBay note that you talked about, and let's get into that discussion a little bit.
I don't remember.
There are only 2 vintage cards in the most looked at cards.
Oh, yeah. I went into the top 25. Was it top 25 or a top 50? I can't remember. Let's see. Okay, of the 100 most watched cards on eBay, only 2 of the top 25 are vintage cards, Brian. Is that a signal of some sort?
Well, I mean, it's certainly interesting. I think it really speaks to eBay is a good venue, and we've seen, the numbers bear this out. eBay's had a lot of success in the modern realm because you're trading on what a guy has done for you lately. So a guy has a great game, you put his card up instantaneously, list it, buy it now, list it for a short 3-day auction. You have that ability. Whereas the traditional auction houses like REA, there's just longer lead times generally. Right. So it doesn't surprise me that modern gets more traction on a venue like eBay. And then conversely, I think auction houses like REA especially have proven that they just have significant, deep pocketed bidders for vintage. And if you want to give your items the best chance of success, those have generally brought the best numbers.
But is Modern making up any ground with places like REA and that kind of distribution? Is it starting to encroach on that a little bit more? It makes perfect sense on eBay because it's young and social media and basically it makes perfect sense. But with the influx of just investors in memorabilia and cards, have you seen modern cards gaining any ground?
Yeah, I mean, we're selling now more modern, and I'll call them ultra modern cards from the 2010s, 2020s, and today. We're selling more ultra modern cards than we've ever sold before, and so I think that you're just seeing a younger bend towards collectors. You're seeing more interest in what's going on. There's a lot more product being created right now than there was in years past. So we're certainly seeing it, and there's enough of it to go around.
Interesting. Louis, why don't you tell our viewers and audience about the Philly show? Brian, are you at the Philly show this week?
We'll have representatives there. I won't be there personally, but yeah, we'll be set up at booth J.
Louis?
East Coast Sports Marketing presents the Philadelphia Sports Collector Show, also known as the Philly Show, presented in partnership with eBay. Join us on Friday, September 19th through Sunday, September 21st at the Greater Philadelphia Expo Center. That's Hall A, 100 Station Avenue in Oaks, Pennsylvania. Inside, you'll find over 300 dealer booths, plus an additional 75 TCG and Pokemon tables covering more than 130,000 square feet of collectibles heaven. Cards from the 1800s to today, signed memorabilia, Pokemon, Funko merchandise, and more. Major auction houses and grading and authentication companies on site, and it's family friendly. Kids 10 and under get in free. Autographs include Philly favorites Fletcher Cox, John Kruk, Ron Hayes, Terry Mulholland, and Garrett Stubbs, plus Hall of Famers Reggie Jackson, Wade Boggs, Andre Dawson, and Tony La Russa, World Series champions Steve Garvey and Bill Madlock, college football legends Roddy Rudiger and Ricky Williams, and cast members from The Sandlot and the Mighty Ducks movie franchises. Come celebrate 50 years of the Philly Show, where it all started. For more information, visit phillyshow.com.
You know, in a couple of weeks, we're going to have our friend Tom Ruggie on. Tom always brings a lot to the table. If you have a high-end vintage collection and you don't know what to do with it when it comes to time to settle your estate, Tom is the guy to go to. Tom is president of Destiny Wealth Management. And again, if you're a card and memorabilia collector, have you ever thought about how to manage your collection long term? Actually, I have. I look at my personal collection, and through the advice and expertise of Tom Ruggie, I've learned that you need a professional to help categorize, evaluate, and eventually put a liquidation plan together with your dealers or auctioneers. If your family is not interested, you need to make it part of a portfolio through liquidation. So you want to go to Tom Ruggie Wealth Management, the go-to company to manage your collectible decisions. It's Tom Ruggie Wealth Management or Family Destiny. He's got two different companies. Brian, got to ask you the question. How many lots in this auction, this particular auction?
Over 4,600.
Okay. In a typical auction, what percentage of the items in the auction are typical, because we had this discussion last week, are typically recycled? In other words, I mean, you don't typically get new finds for every auction, do you?
Well, it depends on what your definition of recycled is. Certainly, there's a lot of collectors who are downsizing or selling off stuff that they bought out of auction a month, a year, 10 years ago. Not every auction can be built off of entirely fresh to the hobby stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be impossible.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, these auctions, they vary. Sometimes it's 90% collectors moving through stuff. Sometimes it's 40% collectors moving through stuff. Our large catalog auctions generally have a lot of our new, exciting, fresh to the hobby stuff. But you never know what you're going to find in one of these auctions.
Go ahead, Louis.
To Tom's recent read about legacy and collections coming because of the collector passing on and the family not wanting to deal with it. How often do you get that conversation? It's like, my father had this stuff. What do I do with it? How much is it worth?
Yeah, it's a big driver of our business. We're having conversations like that every week. And sometimes the collectors have done the legwork prior to their passing, and their family, their heirs have a really clear path and clear expectations, and other times it's not as smooth, and so we're counted on to do a lot of the education, and that's just part of our service.
Brian, you do a lot of shows. You're at the National. The whole theft thing that's been going on over the last couple of years, do you guys take special precautions when you set up at a show?
Yeah, always. I mean, at the National, just a month ago, we had 24-hour round-the-clock armed security. We transport our stuff to and from by armored car. We're not really taking any precautions. We've seen very well documented instances of high-profile thefts, and we don't want to be on the the unfortunate side of that equation. So, yeah, we're heavily investing in security and always trying to do stuff to stay ahead.
How much money is actually on that floor, on a given time?
Oh God,
Tremendous.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Yeah, I mean, it's impossible to put a number on it, really. All right, listen, I think we're going to take our last break. Brian Dwyer from REA Auctions is in the house. We have another segment to go and talk about the September auction now. And I'm sorry, is it the September auction now? And then the auction after that is the what?
We've got an October coming up, and then we've got a fall catalog.
Wow, very cool, very cool. Hang in there, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you are a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. Highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Okay, we are back. Brian Dwyer from REA Auctions is in the house. Lou Blasi from the WBZ newsroom. Is that where you are, Lou?
Yes. No, I'm in the DraftKings Sportsbook at in New Hampshire. Yeah.
By the way, Brian, I don't know if you know this, but Lou is, what is your, like, you're the big guru there now, right?
Oh, no, I'm a supervisor. I'm in a lieutenant level.
So you handle like the DraftKings part of it. You're in DraftKings, right? That's what you work for.
Yeah, just the DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm making sure everything's on the TV screen the way it's supposed to be. All the machines are working. Everyone gets their payouts they're supposed to get.
And then you still have your Sirius radio show. Oh, yeah, actually, it's off season though right now, right?
It's off season right now. I'm not sure I'm going back, but
well,
we'll see.
You've been doing it for a long time. Hey, by the way, you check out this hat. Last week, Rico and I were in Newport, Rhode Island, and if you want to see a beautiful ballpark, it's called Cardines Field, which was voted the 4th nicest ballpark in the country, built in 1880 or something. It's where the Newport Gulls play. What a magnificent field. I highly recommend, if you're ever in Newport, stop at Cardines Field. It is absolutely beautiful.
Ocean View?
No.
Okay.
No, it's about 3 streets over. 3 streets over from the water. One thing about Newport, though. Brian, have you ever been to Newport?
I have.
Tough parking, man. Parking is really tough. I mean,
it's worth it, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, Paul Borges, our good friend Paul Borges, we went down, Rico had an event there, so I kind of hung out to get a free meal, and we ate at the Mooring, which was nice, Mooring restaurant. Brian, I want to ask you a question about the M116. You have an M116 Cobb. Was that with the pink background? I don't remember. Hold on, I'll tell you in a second, so you don't have to look it up. Pastel background. My question to you is, I have one. I've had it for years, and I still have an E90-2. Good cards. That card really has held its value, huh? Both of them.
Yeah, I mean, we have a Wagner in this auction, and then if you're talking about E90-2, Wagner as well.
I mean, that's what I meant. I'm sorry. I have both my cards are Wagners, not Cobb.
No, Wagner's more valuable than Cobb right now, and
right.
The E90-2 has been going through the roof. M116 has always been undervalued, in my opinion. You get a lot of this, it's a mirror image almost of the T206.
T206, right? That's why I bought the card originally, way back. Is it the exact image? I mean, I think it is. No,
it's pretty darn close. If it's not,
really, it's a great card. That's one of my cards that'll hopefully go to one of my kids. Lou?
When people come to you, Brian, to auction off items, what's your general advice for memorabilia and cards about authentication and grading?
Well, authentication for us is just a requirement. I mean, everything that we're selling is authenticated in some form or fashion. Some of it we're doing internally. A lot of it we're using third-party authenticators to do. Like John said earlier, it's a must for autographs. Autographs can be a minefield. And the companies that are out there right now that do autograph authentication, we lean on them heavily. Photographs, there's a lot that we can't know about photographs, and we rely on guys like Henry Yee who have spent their life devoted to learning the ins and outs of photographs. So we tell people that it's going to just make their items more saleable, more marketable, more valuable. We look at authentication as a value add in that it increases the value of the items, but also decreases the chance of a problem on the back end. So,
Brian, what is your advice to collectors about all of these so-called grading companies that are popping up all over the place?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we've run into people who have spent a lot of money on what I will call fly-by-night companies. You know, they crop up because PSA's got long backlogs or SGC's got long backlogs or whatever the case may be. It's very short-sighted by the collectors, in my opinion, because they're unsellable oftentimes on the back end. There's not the collector base, there's not the trust, there's not the reputation. It's worth waiting for PSA and SGC to do their jobs because it'll make it that much easier for you to sell on the back end.
Louis?
So raw cards are no-go, for example, in a auction situation.
That's a good question.
We sell a lot of raw cards. I mean, we employ actually graders of our own, so employees at REA whose only job is to grade cards. I think that makes us different than a lot of the other auction houses, is that we have people who are specially trained to be in line with the grading company standards. You can buy raw cards from us described and generally get about the same results from a major grading company. So everything that we sell, a lot of it's raw, but it's looked at by somebody qualified.
And so do you state, I mean, I never even paid attention to this, but when you sell a raw card, so you're basically guaranteeing that the card that is in your auction that's a raw card is 100% real.
Yeah, so everything that we sell, we're standing by that. From a card perspective, it's a real card. We can't guarantee that PSA is going to grade it a 4 or an 8 or a 9 or a 2 or whatever the case may be, but we're guaranteeing that we've looked at it, we've described it, any flaws appropriately, and what you're going to get is a real card.
How important is right? You can determine altered or not altered.
Yeah, so we're absolutely putting it through the process to look for alterations. Again, we can't guarantee that another person views it the same way, but we're catching a lot of major alterations.
How important is insurance, Brian?
Integral. I mean, we have a lot of insurance for a lot of different reasons, and recommend that collectors get the insurance because you never know when something can happen.
How's that for a segue, Louis?
It was excellent. I grabbed a copy.
Thank you.
I saw it coming. Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency has been insuring collectibles since the early 80s. The late Tom Finkelmeyer wrote the original sports memorabilia insurance policy when no one else in the industry was insuring sports collectibles. A lifelong collector of sports cards, Tom Sr. instilled the love of collecting in Tom Jr., the current president of Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency. Tom Finkelmeyer Jr., with 3 decades of insurance experience, has paired that expertise with 50 years of collecting. With a litany of professional designations, including counseling and risk management, Tom covers every aspect of your collectibles insurance needs. Unlike some of the companies that sell quote-unquote collectibles insurance directly to the consumer online, Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency is the only independent retail agent who specializes in sports memorabilia and collectibles nationwide. Representing all major companies that sells collectibles insurance, there's no agent that insures more collectors, dealers, appraisers, auctioneers, or events in the collectibles hobby than Finkelmeyer Insurance. Our good friend and hobby legend John Tovey of JT Sports has been using Finkelmeyer Insurance for over 20 years. For more information, go to thefia.com. That's thefia.com. That's Finkelmeyer Insurance, where collecting is our passion.
Tovey is the best, isn't he, Brian?
He's a good guy.
He really is. I love John. We're going to be, we're excited. Rico and I are excited this winter. Rico, Ellen and I typically, when we're in Florida for the winter, we're on the East Coast and Rico's on the West Coast. This year, Rico's going to be over with us. He's going to be about a mile away, and Tovey is going to be about 5 miles away.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to have some fun with John quite a bit. We're looking forward to it. Brian, shows are popping up all over the place, and they all seem to be booming. Obviously, the National is the hub of the hub, but there are quite a few shows that are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And then in little towns, you've got little shows that are popping up all over the place. What are your thoughts on all of that?
It's great to see. I mean, I loved when I was really an active collector. I loved going to shows. You'd never know what you'd find. I mean, John Liffmann alluded to it earlier, where he was walking the show floor and found something in a dealer's booth that he wanted for himself. So I think they're fantastic. You know, we are at a bunch. We can't be at them all. But we've carved out a nice rotation of shows all around the country that have worked out, and we enjoy going to them.
Awesome. All right. So your auction ends, this particular auction ends when?
Sunday, September 21st.
September 21st. And then right after that, you have the October auction that runs for how long? 15 days, 2 weeks?
That'll be a 10-day auction. We're gearing up for that auction and the fall auction. You have about another month to get consignments into us. So we got a lot going on here.
And then you have the big Kahuna catalog auction.
Yeah.
Awesome. Brian, as always, man, again, I say this all the time. You've been with us since day one. There's a handful of our sponsors that have been with us 9 years now, Brian.
Hard to
believe. Crazy stuff. But anyway, as always, thank you for coming on board. You're going to be in Wilmington, but you won't be there, right?
Right. We'll have a presence there, but I won't be there. I'm pretty much only going to the National these days.
Yeah. Ellen and I, that's our 25th anniversary. So we're going to be there just on Friday to drop off sandwiches to the guys.
Cool.
All right. So that's kind of become except for Grady. Grady always hits me up for 2 sandwiches. Never fails. Never fails. All right, Brian, we love you and good luck going down the road the rest of the year, and look forward to seeing you down the road.
Sounds good. Appreciate it.
Louis, as always, man, great job.
Fun today.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys. To our viewers and listeners, as always, thank you so much for your support. If it weren't for you guys, we wouldn't be here. With that being said, happy collecting.